To be successful, you have to have your heart in your business and your business in your heart. That's a quote by Thomas Watson Sr. Time is precious, time is money, and this is a time for Money Talk on ATM Business today on Atlantic Television Network. Good day, viewers, and welcome to a fresh episode of ATM Business on Atlantic Television Network, right here in the city of Port Harcourt. This is a network's medium of bringing the happenings in the economic sector of the society to our discerning viewers. This program is aimed at bringing to the doorstep of viewers the business, financial, and economic activities from all strata of society. Its delivery is accentuated through the various stock exchanges across the world, news about government economic activities, private sector business activities, lists with experts' opinions, stakeholders' analysis, and correspondence reports. By the end of the show, you can be rest assured of being informed accurately of financial activities around the world. I am your host, Wendy Agoma. Headlines. Government intervention urgently needed. CBN's efforts yield fruits. Steel industry faces weak demand. Global demand concerns weigh on prices. We take a short break. Welcome back. Now let's go into market reports, local and international business news for today. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has supplied premium motor spirit, that's PMS, to the Port Harcourt and Warri Depot, a significant step towards tackling the lingering fuel queues nationwide. Oil marketers confirmed that daughter vessel transported PMS to the depot in River State and Delta State to decongest the trucks besieging the Apapa depot in Lagos daily. The National Publicity Secretary of the Independent Petroleum Market Man, Chief Ukadike Chinese, supply is cursing high prices in Nigeria's foreign exchange market, stabilizing the economy and controlling inflationary pressures. Aviation workers have cancelled their planned protest scheduled for today, Wednesday, regarding the federal government's demand for 50% revenue collection from agencies. The strike was called off following a government directive aimed at resolving tensions within the aviation sector. Nadi Hector, Secretary of the Joint Aviation Trade Unions Forum, clarified that recent protest reduction of 50% from the internally generated revenue of key aviation agencies. The unions made this announcement in a letter dated August 14, 2024, titled Save Aviation from Collapse. The cancellation of the strike and the presidential intervention are expected to ease tensions within the disputes that neglected Bonny Island, its host community. An online media platform recently made the accusation, claiming the company failed to involve the people of Bonny in its corporate social responsibility benefits. In a statement issued, the aviation sector is facing The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, has issued an operational license to Edo Refinery and Petrochemical Company (ARPC). NMDPRA CEO Ahmed Farouk enables ARPC to commence full operations as its 6,000 barrels per day modular refinery in Ipoba, Oka, Edo State. ARPC, a subsidiary of AIPCC Energy, has already achieved commissioning and is fully operational, producing refined products such as diesel, naphtha, and low-pour fuel oil. The company is also developing 3 additional projects, with one expected to be completed within the next year. The refinery is finalizing a annual production capacity. This development is expected to boost the company's output and contribute to the country's petroleum refining capacity. NMDPRA CEO Ahmed Farouk commended ARPC for achieving the feat and assured the company of regulatory authority support. He also encouraged the company to continue to strive for excellence in its operations. ARPC's head of technical operations, Shegu Okeni, expressed gratitude to NMDPRA for the license and assured that the company would continue to work with the regulatory authority. Shegu Obasanjo has been invited to serve as a special guest of honor at the maiden edition of the Akintola Williams Memorial Lecture. The lecture is organized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, in honor of the late Mr. Akintola Williams, widely recognized as the Doyen of accounting in Nigeria. ICAN's president, Davidson Alaribe, extended the invitation to Obasanjo during a visit to his Abeokuta home on Monday. Alaribe emphasized the significance of Obasanjo's involvement, noting his enduring influence as a national leader. Thanked ICAN for taking the initiative to recognize Williams' legacy. Obasanjo also took Alaribe on a tour of the Obasanjo Museum, Library and Archives. He highlighted the importance of preserving institutional memories, a practice he noted is often neglected in Nigeria. Obasanjo emphasized that a strong understanding of the past is vital to documenting the present and shaping the future. The Akintola Williams Memorial Lecture is scheduled to hold on a date yet to be announced. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. Stay connected on ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Negotiations are still ongoing to resume cargo flights between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia, with no final dates set yet. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, had previously announced plans to resume cargo flights between the two countries in May. Keyamo had met with the Saudi counterparts during a visit to Saudi Arabia, where they agreed to resume cargo flights. The decision was seen as a significant step towards enhancing trade and logistical connections between the two nations. The resumption of cargo flights is expected to benefit both economies, with Nigeria's aviation sector poised for growth. However, the complexity of international relations and diplomacy means that things take time, according to KMO's special advisor on media, diplomacy and protocol. He assured that the negotiations are ongoing and that the final dates will be announced soon. The Nigerian government is working closely with the Central Bank of Nigeria to realize the goal of resuming cargo flights with Saudi Arabia. The partnership is expected to yield positive results for the country's aviation sector and economy at large. The $2.59 billion Badagry Deep Sea Port project has entered its second phase, focusing on implementation and securing strategic financial patterns. The project, divided into 4 phases, aims to become one of Africa's largest deep sea ports. The Chief Executive Officer of Badagry Ports Development Limited, Didi Ndiomu, disclosed this during a meeting with the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adeboyega Oyetola, in Abuja. Ndiomu emphasized the project's natural debt, eliminating the need for additional costs to sustain it. The Federal Executive Council approved the project's development on a public-private partnership basis in 2022, and the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission issued a full business case compliance certificate. Minister Oyetola expressed the ministry's readiness to facilitate the project's realization, aligning with President Bola Tinubu's objectives. He has met with interested investors, both local and international, to invest in the project. Oyetola commended the company's efforts, acknowledging the obstacles they have overcome to reach this stage. The project's completion, alongside the Agge port in Bayelsa, will provide Nigeria with a natural port, boosting the country's economic potential. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has announced a significant increase in remittance inflows, reaching $553 million in July 2024, a 130% increase from the corresponding period in 2023. This figure represents the highest monthly total inflows on record and reflects ongoing effort by CBN to enhance liquidity in Nigeria's foreign exchange market. The growth in remittance receipts is attributed to policy measures introduced by the CBN. This development is a clear indication that the CBN's monetary policy tightening measures are delivering results. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelebu, has announced that President Bola Tinubu has directed that all businesses, institutions, households, and industries must be metered within the next 5 years. This directs to metering gaps. The minister reiterated that the government is committed to supporting local content and job creation and will work with MBH Power to achieve this goal. It will spend 20% of its net proceeds, 99.27 billion naira, on technology infrastructure upgrades, including computer hardware, software licenses, and cybersecurity architecture. Fidelity Bank has planned to invest 19.01 billion naira in IT infrastructure, including cybersecurity capabilities and network infrastructure upgrades. FCME Group has the least amount budgeted. The Eco Revenue Plus Summit aims to drive Lagos State revenue to 5 trillion naira by 2027 solutions. The summit, scheduled for September, will focus on exchanging existing revenue streams and generating new ones. Lagos State recorded 400 billion naira in internationally and make their lives easier. You're watching ATN Business on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Welcome back to ATN Business and Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. China's steel industry is facing significant challenges due to weak demand from the country's struggling property sector. Despite being the world's largest producer and consumer of steel, China's steel supply remains bloated, leading to a slump in steel and iron ore prices. Industry experts predict that the downturn will last several years, negatively impact industrial metals required in infrastructure. China's steel rebar prices have dropped over 20% year to date, while iron ore prices have plunged over 28%. The industry is caught between a rock and a hard place as steel makers margin are squeezed by weak demand. Muted demand is expected to continue into 2025 with no specific measures announced to support the battled property sector. China's steel exports have increased, leading to dumping charges from several countries. The oversupply of steel in export destinations may hurt domestic steel makers' stock prices. The situation has been described as a winter for the steel industry with a long-term adjustment period expected. Weakening against major currencies, the US dollar slipped to its lowest level this year versus the euro and fell below 145 yen, sparking concerns about its future direction. The dollar's decline pressure from falling bond yields, which hit their lowest since August 5th. The US dollar index, which measures the currency against 6 major rivals, edged to a fresh low since January 2nd. The euro pushed to its highest level since December 28, while sterling stood at a level last seen in July last year. Traders will be watching Powell hints on the likely size of a rate cut next month. The odds of a quarter-point cut have risen to 72%, with bets on a bigger reduction at 28%. The dollar's weakness. As the dollar continues to slide, traders are seeking safe haven currencies like yen and euro. West Texas Intermediate crude was trading at $73.23, up 6%. Meanwhile, Brent crude has shed 6.2% of its value since peaking above $82 on Monday last week, closing at a 2-week low of $77.20. WTI fell 7.5% in the same period, driven by worries over demand from China, the world's biggest crude importer. Concerns about the impact of the war in the Middle East on crude supply have also eased. U.S. crude oil stocks were seen rising last week, according to market sources citing American Petroleum Institute figures. This increase in inventories points to oversupply, which could pressure prices. However, gasoline and distillate stocks fell, according to the sources. The United States is the world's biggest producer and consumer of oil, and growing inventories could lead to oversupply. Official U.S. government inventory estimates are set to be released on Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. This data will provide further insight into the state of the oil market. Hopes of a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas have weighed on oil prices, along with lingering demand concerns. A bridging proposal from the U.S. could help shrink the gaps between the two sides in the 10-month-old war. The economic struggles in top crude importer China continue to impact the market, with weak processing margins and low fuel demand curbing operations at a state-run and independent refinery. This has led to a decline in oil prices. The global commodities market has been volatile this year, with prices remaining largely elevated. Some commodities like cocoa, eggs, orange juice, rubber and coffee have seen significant gains due to adverse weather conditions and supply disruptions. Cocoa prices jumped 66% this year, with futures soaring to an all-time high in April. Eggs prices surged over 62% per dozen due to avian influenza outbreaks. Orange juice futures reached a record high in May and remain elevated due to production declines in Florida and Brazil. Rubber prices rose nearly 30% due to production declines in Thailand and Indonesia. Coffee futures jumped 25% due to adverse weather conditions in Brazil and Southeast Asia. However, not all commodities have seen gains. Iron ore prices declined the most, falling below 100% per ton due to weak demand from China's property sector. Grains like wheat, corn, and soybeans also saw significant slumps due to bumper crops and large surpluses.